We're going to talk about XRP, and I have to start with this from Coin Speaker DWP Management Bags. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As always, this is Rich doing another video on XRP today. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are in this amazing world. It's said that it has raised millions of dollars in capital strategies with the $200 million in-kind contributions. The company thinks that the evolution of digital portfolio integration has led to significant disclosures that have an impact on the US SEC. These kinds of announcements will become increasingly common. Be aware that this has been going on since April and that $200 million of it has been in XRP. You know, this is probably being done in the background by a lot of other businesses, and those announcements will begin to appear one after the other. In order to diversify its balance sheet and generate long-term shareholder value, Actelis Networks announced that its cryptocurrency treasury plan has been approved. They no longer bring up XRP. I wish to draw attention to their approach. Therefore, the company's ongoing focus on its core networking solutions business across the federal, military, smart city, intelligent transportation, and multi-dwelling unit industries is enhanced by the cryptocurrency treasury strategy. With sufficient working capital for operational needs and ongoing investment in expansion plans in its core business, the company plans to execute this strategy in a balanced way. I'm interested to see where this goes. Additionally, they're discussing applications for the Internet of Things. Many businesses, however, will increasingly focus on digital assets and will establish treasuries around them in order to expand over time. Perhaps they have assets there that they would like to sell for more money in order to strengthen their balance sheet. However, some cryptocurrency like XRP can boost the business without ever being sold. Epic Chain declared that all tiers of its real-world asset stack are now in line with Arlo USD as Epic keeps growing its XRP native infrastructure. Epic intends to incorporate a native USD settlement layer throughout its ecosystem through the anticipated integration of Ripple Arlo USD, supporting collectibles, commodities, finance, and tokenized real estate. On the XRP ledger, this opens up USD risk-managed cross-border settlements, USD treasury and market making, and dollar-settled yield payouts and dividends. The next stage of XRP native asset infrastructure will begin when Arlo USD powers the Epic stack. In the upcoming months, real-world asset tokenization will also be a hot topic of discussion. Tokenization will take off once regulations are established. When it does, it will happen extremely quickly. The last 24 hours have seen surges in XRP futures activity. What that means for prices is as follows. We are aware that prices will increase, of course. However, this also indicates that people are beginning to position themselves with XRP. You know, XRP now offers the best return on investment for even novice retail investors. Additionally, some investors only ever consider the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Investing in the top 10 is what most of them desire. After that, people begin to investigate what the low-cost cryptocurrencies are. To put it another way, it might be a meme coin for pennies or something that is useful but still really inexpensive, like Flare. In the past 48 hours, whales have bought 50 million XRP. When XRP immediately starts to decline, you can observe that whales are buying up the cryptocurrency, or that major announcements are about to fall. When you sell off your XRP, that's the person you're selling to. Institutions will soon be purchasing that XRP as well. This cryptocurrency is in high demand, and as XRP's price rises, so will that demand. To put it another way, if XRP were to spike above $4 at this moment, the FOMO would be tremendous, since so many people would be sitting on the sidelines believing that the alt season has already passed, and that this cycle is over, as the mainstream media is promoting. They are promoting the notion that Bitcoin will continue to exist indefinitely after the 4-year cycle concluded. Additionally, new investors hold this belief, since it is what they see on television. However, the truth is that we still have a long way to go, and that alt season is approaching. According to Nate Garassi, Blackrock calls me out right away, and states that there are currently no plans to establish a standalone ETF or spot XRP. This will be remembered as a mistake, in my opinion. Accordingly, Blackrock, which presently lists and trades Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs, stated that it has no plans to create an XRP ETF or a single ETF. BlackRock currently has no plans to apply for an XRP or SOL ETF. Johnny Deaton even stated, "I'll bet money that they file for one within a year," in response to a BlackRock representative who told the block on Friday. And I concur with that. Actually, I still think BlackRock they will file as soon as the ETFs are accepted. They will be the ones to alert you when it's time to leave. Because BlackRock tends to handle everything in Washington, the SEC will suddenly begin allowing all of these ETFs to go live as soon as BlackRock files. The source of this is Dart Defender. I told everyone before about the ground wave structure upgrade. My dear friends, in February 2021, we first discussed the masterpiece, and a lot of people told me that XRP couldn't even get above 30 cents. They referred to me as crazy, etc. After that, a lot of wild predictions came true. It took us 7 years to finish waves 1 and 2, and I can state with pride that XRP is currently on the third grand wave, for which we have been waiting a long time. Since many people believe that we are currently entering wave 5, I would like to show you this chart. However, it is actually a protracted wave 3, and if you look at this, he's forecasting that we will continue to rise for a very long time. He is therefore predicting between $32 and $56 in 2025 and 2026. However, we keep rising, and by 2029, XRP is trading between $560 and $1,000. However, there is a subsequent decline that lowers us back to $32. What would happen? How could that possibly occur? However, by 2035, the price of XRP has increased by over $10,000. Since that is a long-term chart, I would now concur with that. However, many anticipate that XRP will hit $1,000 during this cycle. The story is beginning to change, but it is changing in response to future events, similar to the ETFs, Clarity from Washington, and even ISO, which had a minor role. Tokenization follows. Ripple might turn into a bank. Therefore, I believe we arrive sooner than 2030 or 2029. The timing, in my opinion, is more for 2027-2028. According to his chart, we would therefore probably reach $10,000 XRP by 2031 or 2032. Because I always take years off, because the schedule was accelerated back in 2022, when Russia declared that it would have a digital currency issued by its state bank. That, I believe, is what made everything different. Even Jake Claver thinks we hit $1,500 to $2,500 much faster than people expect, but I could be mistaken based on everything that's happening. And given the catalyst, I lean toward agreeing with that. Professional for Wave 5, Mr. Zoom projects an XRP price chart between $7 and $10. As I mentioned before, many people believe that Wave 5 has already begun. Furthermore, I disagree with that, since they believe that we are here at this moment. We're still on Wave 3, I believe it appeared more like this. Waves 1, 2 and 3 was most likely back here, and we're currently on Wave 3, rather than Wave 5. I apologize for getting sidetracked there, but I believe that people are viewing this incorrectly, since in my opinion, it was in November that we began to break upward. There was no breakout there. Because of the election, I continue to think that was only a correction, and that's my perspective. One lucky winner will receive XRP from Gemini, a leading US exchange, hints at a significant event in the upcoming weeks. According to Gemini, the winner has been informed. We appreciate everyone who came. Additionally, they distributed 305 XRP, which is worth $1,000. The exchanges are aware that a significant event is imminent when they begin to distribute XRP. Because they don't want to miss the impending XRP run, they want customers to sign up for their exchange and begin purchasing their cryptocurrency there. These fools aren't psychologically ready to learn. Ripple probably does not possess all of the XRP escrow. If that's how this story ends, grown men will do more than cry. Lock in. As I mentioned, many people think that someone else already owns the escrow. Perhaps the elites own it. We're not entirely sure. Listen to this Bitcoin Maxi podcast instead. Pay attention to what they have to say about XRP and its holders. Last weekend they asked me again what I thought about XRP. It is difficult to say yes, and to be fair, if you look at the chart, I believe XRP has dropped from about $1 to $3. You're familiar with that.